Sup?
Hello.
Tyler, Keith. We're here. With an album review.
Yes, we are.
I was thinking of the way I just said that. My name is Tyler Keith. Tyler and Keith. Yeah, we're going to talk about the new album from the band Trivium, entitled The Sin in the Sentence. You really can't see anything.
Good God. That's not a good color.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
But the album art's right here, too. This is their 8th album. This is the follow-up to Silence in the Snow. And this is a very interesting album for Trivium because, to me, it's a little bit of Trivium going back to the heavier side of them. This is probably the heaviest album they've done since maybe In Waves.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And it's also probably the best album they've done since In Waves, in my opinion. I mean, Vengeance Falls is cool. I jam that album a lot, but it was a different album for them, especially vocally with Matt Heafy. Silence in the Snow I really don't enjoy listening to that much besides a few songs, but this album I love just about every song off of it, and it hits a lot harder than what they've been doing recently, so that's how I feel.
I have a slightly different opinion. But
Yeah.
I do. I like this album. I genuinely do, and I like all the songs. I agree it's better than Silence in the Snow, but at least to me, there's two things. There's really only two things that I find a little, not bad, but like wrong with this album. So and they're both kind of easy, and that's why I'm doing this first, because they're the easiest things to talk about. One, I feel like almost at times this album suffers from Death Magnetic syndrome. In the sense, like, when I heard a thing with Matt Heafy, they were talking about when they were writing this album, and he was saying, yeah, we look back at everything we did, and we're like, we want to write the best album. They were kind of pulling from everywhere. And I feel like at times you can kind of tell. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, and it works most of the time, but sometimes I don't think it does. This is one of the times, this isn't, I don't mind this time that it happens, but it's the one that comes to my mind. Sever the Hand, right after, like, the chorus, and it just kind of, boom, shifts, and then it gets to the heavy part, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
kind of a little jarring, and there's a couple spots in the album like that. And then, whereas, probably, in my opinion, one of the only memorable and great things about Silence in the Snow was I liked Matt Heafy's vocals on that album. I'm not the biggest fan of his vocals on this album.
Really?
To me, there's a couple of spots where I feel like, especially after that album, where I feel like that's, singing-wise, is maybe some of his best singing. I feel like maybe some of the lyrics and rhythms and whatnot of the vocals were kind of made in a way so that he can kind of not, it's going to sound weird, but like show off. Like, hey, it's more singing in a lot of ways. And there's a couple spots where I kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't fit well for me. Like, in the Betrayer, in the chorus, when he first hits that note, when he says I, and then just kind of drops off, I'm like, ugh, like that does not sound good to me. And then in a couple of, mostly like the first couple songs, like Other Worlds, like some of the high notes he's hitting in that song, I'm like,
Other Worlds is the only one where that I feel you on that with.
And then
I'm not as annoyed with the chorus of Betrayer.
But that's like the only part of that song.
But Other Worlds, I was like, I get what you're trying to do, and hey, Matt Heafy always pushes himself to do different things, and that's great. Not every time does it work. Other Worlds is an example of, like, I'm not sure how I feel about.
Yeah, and there's a couple other moments like that. Beyond Oblivion, in the chorus a little bit, like just the mixing, like it doesn't sound bad, but I felt like the mixing and the harmonization of the vocals, especially in like the middle section-y thing where he's just saying the name of the song over and over again. I'm just kind of like, it's not bad, but I'm just like, that just sounds off. But then other than that, I really like a lot of this album. There's a lot more riffs on this album, which I like, and a lot of them like bust, like the wretchedness inside. I fucking love how that song busts in. I also love, basically besides I just, talked shit on the chorus of it, I love everything else about Betrayer. Like, I love how the song starts. My favorite part of the song is the harmony at the end. I fucking love that. And then, yeah, I just feel like besides those couple of things, I think this is a great album. But like, at least to me personally, some of the spots in the songwriting and some of the vocals kind of bring me down a little bit. But like songs like "Sever the Hand," I love "Sever the Hand." That's a great song. I like "Thrown into the Fire" and "The Betrayer." Like I like most of the songs in this album, but it's one of those situations where for a lot of the songs, maybe like one thing that happens in like the song, again, either vocally or songwriting wise, I'm just kind of like, this is a little meh. But I do enjoy this album. I agree that it's probably the best album since In Waves, but maybe only by a little bit in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely not their best album, but it's a little bit more of a return to form in a way for them. They are pulling from just about everything they've done. You can tell there's some of the more simplistic mainstream stuff. There's some of the more straight up in your face metalcore riffs. Matt Heafy does a lot more screamed vocals on here, which I think is a welcome thing to return to.
And I do feel like his scream vocals, whereas his singing, I talked a lot on, but his scream vocals, I thought they sounded better than ever. Really.
Yeah,
they
do. They do sound fantastic. To me, the song that I love with scream vocals is "Thrown into the Fire."
Yeah,
that song is just badass. And the first time I heard that song, I'm like, yeah, this is absolutely one of the best songs on this album. I love everything about that song. But then you have the 10th track, the Revenkiss, yeah,
the Revenkiss,
which I like the chorus in that song a lot, but it's the verses with the guitar riff that's like it felt like something that would have been on Silence in the Snow. You know what I mean? And with Matt Heafy's vocals over top of it, it's a little bit more on the friendlier radio side of things. And I think they do a good job of mixing them all together pretty well. And there's some just fucking incredible songs on here. And I think it's Endless Night, I want to say. The way that starts off, it has a very, rock rhythm section to the guitar, and then the guitar lead sounds straight up like fucking Dying in Your Arms.
Yep. That's immediately what I thought. I was like,
the way it starts, it's like, and I'm like, oh no!
I noticed that. I was like,
and Matt Heafy has another line. I forget the exact words, but he has another line involving time.
No, I know exactly what song. I forget what song it is, but he says, "Time will not heal all your mistakes." I'm like, yeah, come on! Just especially since I noticed it on the last album. I'm like,
I thought that was interesting. I don't think it's bad or anything, but it's
just one of those things. Once you notice, it's just like you're never not going to notice it.
Yeah, exactly. But I really enjoy this album. I think it is an absolute joy to listen to if you're a fan of Trivium or metalcore. And the thing is, with Silence in the Snow, like, there's only a few songs I enjoy on there, but I was like not obsessed with that album at all. Basically every Trivium album that has ever come out, I've been completely obsessed with. Just not that it's like the best fucking thing in the world or it's changing the whole metal scene on, turning it upside down or anything, but it's always just incredibly fun to listen to. And I think this is an album that I will find myself listening to a lot. I mean, I love the title track. The Heart from Your Hate, I jam at least a few times a week, it feels like. I just love the guitar lead over top, and then just how it comes in with that very heavy, crunchy rhythm. It's just...
Yeah.
It's fantastic. There's a lot of really good stuff on here. And then the heavier stuff, I'm like, yeah, this is great to see some of this just very aggressive side of Trivium come back. Because I was getting a little worried with Silence in the Snow that they were going to keep continuing in that direction of, not maybe being a little bit more rock, a little bit more radio friendly, maybe a little bit more melodic and stuff, which I don't mind them being more melodic, but that they were going to really lose that heavier, aggressive side that they started with, So I think there's some great stuff on here if you're a fan of Trivium, for sure. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I do really like this album. It's probably gonna be a grower a little bit.
Yeah,
for me personally, just like because probably after listening to it a bunch of times, the things that I was saying that like that kind of take me out of it will probably become less and less pronounced, and then and who knows, maybe after a while I'll just get used to the vocals, because it's like, I mean, there is like, has been like a trajectory with his vocals, because they kind of started changing up with Vengeance Falls, and then they got better with the last album, and now they're at where they're at. So I'll probably, again, it's probably just, maybe it's just me being like, this is really different. And just my gut reactions to be like, no, because also it's like the vocal patterns. A lot of the vocal patterns, was what I was trying to say earlier, are not something that I would expect from Trivium. I feel for a lot of songs. I think that's also the other thing that caught me off guard. Was I was like even like the verse "The Betrayer" is just kind of like, that's a little different, and so it's kind of like, oh, and so like I said, maybe with more listens. But yeah, it's a great album.
It does seem, his vocals though, I like that he does different stuff every album now. At this point, they don't feel so on the nose, David Draymond sounding. Yeah, like Vengeance Falls did.
Yeah, that was.
but hey, Vengeance Falls is an album where I feel he really grew a lot vocally in what he was capable of doing, and then Silence in the Snow in this album, he continues to do some interesting stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But overall, it's good, and also the drummer, they got Alex Bent. This is their 5th drummer now, which the drumming isn't bad on this for sure. I mean, it's a lot
more blast beats than especially at least on the last album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Nick Augusto is always going to be my favorite Trivium drummer. He was the one that drummed on Shogun and Ascendancy and the Crusade, and just fucking great drumming on all those albums. But hopefully they can at least keep a drummer. It's just been a revolving door of drummers over the past few albums. It's like every album they have a different drummer at this point. So, of course.
7.5. Give it a 7.5 out of 10.
8.5 from me. Enjoy Trivium and the Sin in the Sentence. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of the album. See you later.